Welcome to In the Middle. I'm Vykky. I'm a wife, a mom, and a leader shaping some of the world's most beloved brands. This is the podcast for all of us figuring it out in real time. In 20 minutes or less, let's get in the middle of it all. I'm so glad you're here. Hey, y'all, welcome back to In the Middle. I'm Vykky, and I'm so glad you're here. So today is a very special day. It is my 20th episode. I cannot believe I've done 20 of these already. It's truly insane. I remember when I first started really framing out this podcast, and I had this fear of like, am I going to really continue this thing? Am I actually going to get this thing off the ground? And I started to do some research to better understand like how rare it is to see number 20. So I learned a crazy stat that said something along the lines of 90% of podcasts don't make it past episode 10 and 99% don't make it to episode 20. So to actually be here in just a mere few months, just thank you to each and every one of you that shows up on a weekly basis to tune in and to hear what I'm in the middle of. It means the most. Your support means the most. And I'm just having a lot of fun. I'm learning a lot. I look back on my first few episodes and I feel like it was years ago, but truly it was like November. I think I recorded probably in late September, October. But I just a baby podcaster, and I'm still learning and growing. And I'm just grateful that you all are supporting and listening, and you're finding value in this podcast. So I've started to do this segment where I talk about what I'm in the middle of. Y'all, we are in the home stretch. We're just a few weeks out from our family vacation. And so I am deep into the final plans, booking some fun activities for us to do. If you listened to the podcast a little bit ago, I just did this episode on when plans change. I did that from Napa. That was last week's episode. And so I was just in the middle of like truly living my best life. I hadn't had a staycation, and it was just nice just to hit pause. I feel so rejuvenated. And so I am now back in vacation planning mode. Those cabinets still have not been touched, y'all. I did purge some of our closets though, and just spring is this week. I think, spring starts on the 26th. And so I am full into spring cleaning. I've purged some of our clothes. It's so interesting raising a little person because you're looking at clothes. We tried on clothes and we're like, oop, that doesn't fit anymore. That doesn't fit. So we're able to take a lot of that stuff to the Goodwill and hopefully get some good use in some other kiddos growing so quickly. So that is what I am in the middle of. But for today, we're going to jump in today's episode. And the title is something along the lines, and I'm still working the title. And obviously, as I record, and then in post, I often decide the titles. I usually have some type of working thing. So if this isn't exactly the title, give me some grace because I am trying to work in 20, but this feels a little bit long. So the title that I'm working with is 20 things that I've learned as a woman in the middle. And my hope today is to give you that sort of rapid fire, quick nuggets. If you're looking for that little push of like, am I thinking about things the right way? Why am I having this pull? I'm hoping that a couple of these speak to you or give you the confirmation that you need or give you a different way to think about what you're navigating today. So let's jump into it. Some of it will be about you. Some of it will be about family, faith. Y'all know some of the topic areas that I am just genuinely interested in and navigating. It always shows through in the things that I share. So let's jump into it. Actually, I am sipping the OG Pink Slush Alani Nu. Still not sponsored, y'all, but start tagging them. Let them know how much I love them. But this is what I'm sipping. It is a little later in the day, so I am nervous that it might keep me up a little bit because it is pretty late to be just starting a camp. But here we are. All right. And so I jotted some of these down because I really didn't want to forget, but it was just nice to sit. And I love so much, even if honestly, this podcast is like a journal for me. I'm not the best journaler, but being able to just jot down my ideas and the things that I'm thinking about has been so cathartic for me, honestly. And so what you get oftentimes, although I'm sharing this with an audience, this is really all about me. It's speaking to me, and I'm just sharing some of my revelations and some of the things that I'm learning about myself, things that I am growing through. And I just hope that maybe it helps you to grow a little bit faster, or gives you a different perspective, or maybe even the permission to pursue the things that you're wanting to pursue in your life. So let's jump into it. Number one, you can be grateful but still want more. Gratitude does not cancel out ambition. There is something about, I guess, this feeling of, oh, you're not grateful. You're always climbing for more. And I think that those things can coexist. I think it's about your posture. I think it's about what you do with the things that you have. Are you giving? Do you honor the journey that you've gone on? Are you reaching back, pulling people up? All of those things can be the output of the gratefulness that you have on where you're going. But it is completely fine to see there's so much more for me to do. Now, of course, we always have to be healthy in our balance of how we do that. But I certainly believe that you can be grateful and still be ambitious at the same time. Number two, and this is something that I am actively dealing with. I'm going to always keep it real with y'all. I'm working on it. I'm giving myself positive affirmations. But my number two is comparison will make you forget what's actually working in your life. Y'all, we know that comparison is the thief of joy, but boy, it is so easy to just hop on social and just see things, the things you perceive. You don't even know for sure how things are going in other people's lives. And it just pricks you a little bit. And it's something that I'm working on. I think social absolutely makes it harder for us, but I am constantly trying to remind myself that the more I compare myself, I am accelerating my lack of joy in my life. And so I would just encourage you, if this is something that is an area that you struggle with, be reminded that like this journey that we're on has been carved out specifically for us. No one else can walk and run this race that has been mapped out for us. So I am telling you this in the same way that I'm telling myself this. I have to stay focused on my lane and my race, and you have to do the same. And I actually believe that when we look left and right too much, then we actually start to lose momentum. If we prematurely take lessons from other people's lives, it starts to send us on detours that were never really meant for us. So let's do our best to, as soon as you start to feel that comparison, what are the things that we need to do? It's like, do you hop off social? Do you take a break? Do you just start saying positive things about yourself? Do you scroll back through your own feed and look at how far you've come? Whatever those things are that you need to do, let's just be reminded that comparison really is a thief of joy. All right, this is number three. You deserve to chase the biggest life you can imagine. Y'all, settling won't do anything but make you smaller. We get one life to live, so you have to chase it to the full. And I get it. It is scary to put yourself out there, and fear floods our minds. But what's the alternative? Playing small, playing scared, and we get to the ends of our lives, and then we feel like, man, had I just taken that one shot. So yeah, chase those big dreams and live your life to the full. Okay, friends, I know I'm probably going to step on toes because, baby, we do not like to talk about money. But number four, your relationship with money will shape your life more than you realize. Face it, deal with it, realize it, get the support you need. And listen, I am truly the spender in the relationship. And so if nobody feels you, I feel you. So, but what I do realize in a few ways, when you don't manage your money well, it limits you in the opportunities you can take advantage of. It limits you in the decisions you can make. When you are coming from a place of lack, you start to make poor decisions financially. Or if an opportunity presents itself, you can't jump on it because you don't have the capital. So, especially for those of you who have the pursuit of being an entrepreneur, you have to always have your money right, and not put yourself in a position where it is so tight that one missed check, one missed deal, one client not paying on time is the difference between your lights being on and off. Again, this is coming from a place of, I feel it, I'm there. My budget is front of mind today, actually. But I also know that the more you can be proactive with your money and getting the support that you need. Because some of us, we didn't grow up with our parents having us at the table with them working through their budget. I see these stories and I love it. And I want to do that more with our kids, is like you have your kids in the mix, learning what it means to back in the old days, balance a checkbook and all of that. But the kids just aren't exposed to that. I wasn't really exposed to that as much. I just knew you don't want credit cards. That was sort of, I feel like my lessons growing up with finances, but there's so much more out there for us to have knowledge of. And so if you don't have that, that shouldn't be a place of shame, but you should see the gaps and try to fill them with professionals. All right, number 5, and I've said this on the pod before, not everything that is good is God. Y'all, this is where we have to tap into our discernment. It will save us from distractions being dressed up like blessings. Things that come our way and it's like, oh, this is good. This looks like a good opportunity. We run and we're doing all of those things, but really we were supposed to stay focused on the thing in front of us. So tapping into discernment, being super wise about the decisions you make and how you use your resources, something that I have truly been learning as I navigate being in the middle. All right, number 6, everyone doesn't deserve to have access to you. Access is earned, not assumed. Number 7, you can love people and still have boundaries. Love and access are not the same thing. Number 8, you don't have to explain every decision you make. I remember early in my life, especially in my career, I felt like every decision had to be made by counsel. And I'm so grateful that I am past that part of my life, whether it's in the workforce or in the home. Like certainly I'm consulting with my leaders, my team, my husband, in whatever format, but there are certain things that I am crystal clear on the path that I need to take, and I don't need validation from others to say, yes, that's the right decision. So if you find yourself asking almost permission from others to make a decision, take a beat and ask yourself why, and maybe just try doing it on your own and trusting yourself and your intuition. Number 9, everything doesn't need to be shared in real time. Privacy is still powerful. It's so interesting. And this is something that I struggle with, building an audience externally on social, on YouTube with the podcast as well. It is such a delicate balance because by nature, I am a private person, but I also know that I have to bring my full and authentic self to the podcast. And so it does take a lot of discernment for me to strike a balance of something that I feel like the Lord is still dealing with me, that it's not quite ready for public consumption because I'm still processing. And I know there are certain people out there who are external processors and they have to talk about it with friends and family and they talk about it on the internet. And I find it fascinating. And oftentimes when I find that content online, I'm like, wow, that's so real. It's so raw. So like authentic. But I also sometimes worry about people who share so much publicly because the internet doesn't forget and the internet is not forgiving. And I find that sometimes people share things prematurely and then years and years later, they're past that thing, but someone watches an old video and they're now being held to account and they have to answer for a stream of consciousness that they shared when they were in a really dark place. So yeah, I think it's something to consider. It's like, how do you strike a balance of being authentic, but not sharing prematurely? Okay, friends, number 10, the version that got you here may not get you there. Growth requires letting go, even if that means letting go of that old version of you. Even the Bible tells us that you can't put new wine in old wineskins. So if you find that you are outgrowing yourself, let it go. I know it's scary, and I know that you're walking into the unknown, but trust that where you're going, you're going to need a new version of yourself to sustain that life. Number 11, you will outgrow people. That doesn't make you a bad person. It just means that you're evolving. Now, how you do it, that could be the bigger question. Number 12, you can't heal in the same environment that hurt you. Now, hear my heart. That doesn't mean that you have to physically leave an environment. And honestly, I believe sometimes we leave physically prematurely, but we bring all of the bad habits, all of the baggage, we bring all of those things with us and we don't deal with the root cause. So what I really mean by that is until you are willing to do the work of changing whatever environmental setup that you've allowed, you are not going to ever fully be healed. Number 13, and for those of you who listen to my Navigating Adult Friendships, you probably heard this already, but closure doesn't always require a conversation. Listen, I think that there are pockets where, yes, you need closure. You need to, on either side, either you need to offer someone closure or you expect closure from someone else, but you also have everything that you need to move forward. And so don't feel like you have to have a conversation with every single person that you feel like you're growing apart from. Use discernment. And if someone asks you for a conversation, if you feel like you have it in you, do it for sure. But if you don't, just say like, hey, this thing didn't work out and I hope nothing but the best for you. That's closure right there. Number 14, the hard conversations usually are the necessary ones. Avoiding them only delays what's already true. I get it. As someone who is a recovering people pleaser and someone who isn't necessarily jumping at the opportunity to have hard conversations, I can just say, as someone being in the middle of it all, I always feel better on the other side. Even if that just means that I have more clarity on a situation, I'm grateful for it. So take this as a sign. My brothers, my sisters, if you need to have a hard conversation, do it. Rip the Band-Aid off. You'll sleep better. All right, number 15. And if you are just wrapping up my most recent series, Hidden by God, you know that delay doesn't mean denied. Listen, sometimes things take a little bit longer because they are meant to last longer. I find that things that are really meant to be long-standing, it takes a little bit longer to develop. So if you are finding yourself being a little delayed in the pursuit that you have, keep running that race, keep working towards it. It's coming. And as a fast follow to that, number 16, some seasons are meant for building, not for being seen. Being hidden truly is a blessing, y'all. And when you get to the other side of it, I know you'll feel how true that is. Just because it is quiet, it does not mean it's not working. Number 17, and I'm stepping on my own toes here. Rest is productive. Burnout is not a badge of honor. And I am to this day reminding myself of that. I am not a machine. I cannot run 12 hours a day, every day, and still believe that I'm going to be my whole healthy self and show up the best that I can for my family, for my friends, and in the workplace. It's not true. It's not sustainable. So take your rest. Number 18, and this one's actually a preview to an episode that's coming up soon. Consistency is a secret weapon. Most people quit before it works. And so if you haven't, you are already ahead. I get it. I know it is so hard to do, but when you unlock it, man, your life is going to change. I'm really excited about this episode, y'all, so stay tuned. Number 19, discipline will take you places motivation never could. Motivation comes and goes, but discipline, that is the thing that stays. All right, rounding it out, number 20. And I've said this on the pod before, and it's something that is just always front of mind for me. The most important relationship you'll ever have is with yourself. Everything is a reflection of that one. How you talk to yourself, how you treat yourself, how you prioritize yourself. Listen, you have to take care of yourself mentally, spiritually, physically, emotionally. You're worth it. If there is one thing I want you to take from today, is that how you show up for yourself will shape everything else in your life. You are worth it. Y'all, thank you again for being on this fun ride. I can't believe 20 episodes in. Man, I really appreciate your support. Again, it's always helpful. 5 stars on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Reviews are great. Subscribing on YouTube, comments, all of those things are really helpful to help this podcast be discovered by others. Thank you all so much. I will see you next week. Bye. Thanks for listening to In the Middle. If this episode resonated with you, share it with a friend and click subscribe so you never miss an honest conversation about life in the middle. I'll see you next time.